Here in this step, we are assembling, gluing together our picture frame or door frame. And so we're over here at the glue table. Want to make sure that you have your clamps. I like using these beam clamps myself. They just seem to, they're just my favorite clamps. But want to make sure that you have the pressure is going to be directly where the joint is going to be. And so I see sometimes people put their clamps in the middle here, and that kind of defeats your purpose. You're going to have a bow in the wood, and you want the pressure to be where you're gluing. So when you take these, you're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on the ends of your rails, and you put them right on the tenon. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they put too much glue on. You just need a little bit. Just coat the surface. There's a lot of surface area here, and it's going to glue up just fine. So just get it a little bit wet all the way around. Don't drench it. And then go ahead and put it into your stiles. Now go ahead and glue over here. Again, don't put too much on, just put a little bit on and coat all those sides. Just use your fingers and then go ahead and assemble it. When you assemble it, you want to do the best you can to try and line them up so that you're flush on the edges here. And that your clamps are upright. Now, when I clamp these together, I want to put a little pressure down here and just gently clamp that together, and then come back over here and do the same thing over here. Now on this joint over here, I intentionally put too much glue on. Many of you are going to have that situation where you see a big, huge bead of glue come up. When you see that happen, wipe it off. Just wipe it on the glue table. Don't wipe it on your clothes, because it won't come out of your clothes. Don't wipe it on your neighbor's clothes. Don't wipe it on your buddies. Especially don't wipe it on your teachers. But wipe it on the table. I like to clamp with the face side up so that I can make sure I'm really getting a nice flush joint right there. And after you put a little bit of pressure on here, you want to look underneath your clamps, make sure that you don't have a bow. If you put too much pressure on, I find a lot of times if you have too much pressure on, then one side or the other tends to bow up. So you really want to make sure that you just have the pieces are where you want them to be so the glue can dry in that position, and that's all the tension you need. You don't need to tighten it down a whole lot. So now that we have it clamped up and it's gluing, the next thing that we would do, and when the glue is dry, is we do have a little bit of a lip here, is I would want to go ahead and take it over to the sanders, and I'd want to sand it. Don't spend too much time in one spot right here. People tend to spend a lot of time just in that spot. You end up with a divot. You don't want to have a divot. You want to keep a flat picture frame. So you want to go ahead and take that sander and go all the way across, all the way up, all the way across, all the way down. And you want to make sure your purpose is to get off any pencil marks, anything from the lumber mill, any mill marks from any saw blades, and to even this out. So you want to definitely get this down a little bit, but you're not going to have to do a whole lot of sanding because the router should be set up in the right spot. You also want to just real quickly take a piece of hand sandpaper, sand out the inside here where you're going to see it, and then you can take the orbital sander and sand the edges down a little bit, but you don't want to, again, spend too much time in one spot in fear of getting an indentation and changing the shape of your project. You want to make sure it stays straight and square.